All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Rakugo, Season 2, Episode 5. Okay. All right, the previous episode was a very wholesome and just familially warm and happy episode.
And also helped us understand a reference that we did not realize would be here.
Was a thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Indeed.
We have that, and we'll eventually be masters of it.
Yes,
of our craft.
However, time is moving rather quickly. Because we got a time skip, and now Shin-chan is an adorable little boy in school and everything.
Convincing little charismatic smile.
Oh, yes, and he has people wrapped around his finger.
Getting everything he wants, for the most part.
Right. Hopefully that's not nefarious foreshadowing to horrible happenings that are about to happen. I don't know. But, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've put on delay a little bit kind of the goings-on with Yakumo in favor of showcasing the family of Yotaro and Konatsu and Shin-chan all being happy and wonderful together. And also, Yota and Konatsu having a little bit more of a healthy, fun dynamic where they're enjoying each other as a couple and they're, officially married now.
Right.
Everything's, like paperwork-wise all done up.
But then also that he was able to convince her to go and do something on the spot that she would have been very much opposed to in general, even though it was something she deeply wanted. And it worked out great. It worked out fantastically. So... is this a time for happiness? Or is it a time for sadness because we can't have them be too happy for too long?
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
We'll see. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below and then come back here for the discussion.
Okay.
All right. Well, darkness has settled upon Yakumo and... It would happen in a specific Rakugo performance that calls back to specific things with regards to his own life. And given that they set up a lot of things specifically to where it was like, something's going to go wrong. We're like, oh, well, okay.
Yotaro wasn't the one that fell asleep this time.
Yep.
And, like, I don't think he's dead.
No.
But he could be.
No, but this would be the slow process probably upon which he will die eventually.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they've been doing with Yakumo is they've been setting him up to have basically the unresolved character arc of sorts with regards to like regret. So he has a lot of things that he regrets regarding the past.
Yep.
But he specifically takes steps in order to kind of avoid the past. He moves forward, and yet he's haunted. He is gripped by the past, and thus he ends up getting visions of the past that lead him maybe closer to death. It's almost as if he's been waiting for this, begging for this to happen sooner rather than later. So I wonder if maybe what he told Konatsu to do was something that he knew would trigger something that would kill him.
I don't think he knew that. I mean that'd be pretty next level, but I feel like this is something that it could be. But I feel like
Konatsu was the one that promised she would kill him.
Sure.
This is something that might not have anything to do with her.
Well, regardless of whether or not it was intended, if this is something that results in him dying, then that could be all kinds of crazy for Konatsu because she might feel like she did it. But I feel like it was probably something that he was doing for effect. The stuff's lit in the story.
It was tied into the story. It's the incense specifically. But let's just say he breathed in a little bit too much of the smoke. It ended up causing him to not be able to breathe as well.
Sure.
So then he ends up having a moment where he emotionally ties the Rakugo to his past. And he flickers in with a vision of Miyokichi in the same way that he has been doing this with Sukeroku. Which, now that I think about it, the first time we saw him have the Sukeroku vision, I think the first episode's ending was him lighting incense at a burial place.
Oh.
And Sukeroku showed up.
Yeah.
So this is something similar,
right,
where it's anytime he's kind of focused on the past in that regard, and then the setting is right for his mind to be put at ease, he gets the haunting visions. And he's just never had one of Miyokichi, I think. So it really took him aback.
Right, because in the case of Miyokichi, I would say they are a lot more haunting than Sukeroku. Like Sukeroku is like it's a haunting, but it's
like his heart like reaching out to
exactly
himself.
Yes, it's the yearning of his heart to be with this person that was the world to him, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Whereas with Miyokichi, it's the reminder of all his
shame.
mistakes, all his shame. You know, and that's probably why he's so awful to Konatsu, is because she's constantly, reminding him of her. And they even had that
they had
go
that
fully on the nose by,
with him seeing her as Miyokichi.
Yep.
In the moment there, which actually, now that I think about it, that makes sense. It wasn't that was something that he might have seen a specter of her there. But the minute he starts hallucinating at all, anything he's actually seeing is not necessarily real. It's just what he's...
Right, totally.
It's just what he's imagining. Like, he might have already passed out, like, the minute that happened.
And
who knows?
Smells are one of the best ways to trigger memories.
Yes, they are.
And I'm pretty sure, I may be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if she made a point of lighting incense when they were like just together in like her room or things like that. I could be wrong, but I feel like
that's possible.
Because she was in the service industry and stuff. That was like not when they were hanging out outside, of course, but I feel like that was something that she probably did. So it would not surprise me at all that there was a lot of like history to just that smell. So that he lights it because he's like, incense. This story.
But he might have chosen this incense, dude.
Sure, right, because he definitely is self-destructive out to wazoo. So
okay, yeah. I can't shake it anymore. It's like creeping on me. Like, I feel like this was him wanting to end it.
Sure.
There's a couple circumstance things that I really want to point out here. Do you remember what he said was his decision as to why he did decide to end up doing the family performance?
Because they brought it up or whatever, and it was just like, okay, well, I guess this is happening.
He's like, does that mean you finally acknowledged it? No, the opportunity was offered to me. Once offered, I had no choice but to accept.
Gotcha.
And it's almost as if he sees it as like a fated thing.
Right. And in a lot of ways, this situation could be one of those because he's wanted to die for a very long time. So the idea that eventually the sort of opportunity presents itself, something happens, his mind's already in that space. So it's no surprise that something like this would happen,
And we've had him state at least like once emphatically that he would rather Rakugo die.
Yeah.
And when he sees this perfect opportunity for Rakugo to gain so much more, I don't know, dude. I'm looking at this and I'm going, I think he planned this. I think this is something where he's like, I'm going to have this happen. Like, let's just say, even if it was a thing where he's not necessarily like,
whether it was a conscious versus subconscious
thing, eventually it bleeds through.
Oh yeah, because like, well, just the fact that he wasn't eating, right? Like that's showing that
the first sign.
Like, I mean,
right there.
He's been a shinigami for a very long time.
Right.
He's been just a skeleton,
just
right?
Half one leg in one world,
right?
The
both fact
worlds,
that like that visual, even the like the whole idea of like like showing someone as a skeleton,
right?
Like, it just makes me think of like X-rays a lot of the time. So my like, I know this is a weird way of saying it, but my default expectation for that imagery is not high, right?
Oh, sure.
If it were used in storytelling, especially in like an animated medium, but here, no, that absolutely communicates exactly where Yakumo's at.
Yeah,
and it's so something like this, of course this would happen. Of course it would happen. And the question is, though, is that what happens after?
Yeah.
Because like one of the things that I thought was really interesting is how when he was talking with Yotaro, right? Or Sukeroku, third generation, Sukeroku was talking about how he had a different take on it, right? On the piece and everything, and how best to learn and things like that. And in a lot of ways, like the things that Yakumo was telling him of finding his ego, doesn't really seem to match with just listening to one person's performance over and over again, right? Like, how would listening to one person's performance help you find your own? Like, if you're listening to variety, that would seem to help a lot more. But even when he disagreed with him, it made me think back to when Tsukuroku disagreed with the previous Yakumo, and he got pissed and like threw him out, right? Now, granted, that was in a much more emotionally charged moment, and the character was very different. But I feel like that parallel could be intentional on behalf of the show. And what they want to draw attention to is the fact that Yakumo is too tired, too dead man walking, to even bother to care with the fact that Tsukuroku is rejecting what he taught him.
Yeah. This bit here where he's telling Konatsu to light this during Hangoko, the specific performance. He says, "I think you'll know the best time to do it. I'm counting on you." And the way he touches her is like, it's something where it's like, she has this look of shock, as if like, why is he touching me?
Right. Why is he even saying, "I'm counting on you"? Like, yeah.
Right. And I want to go back again to this with his intentions here. Let's look at this from a couple perspectives here. Yakumo is going to be on his way out at some point with regards to Rakugo anyway, because he's old. I think that was the reason why the story decided to have those three hanging around the little cove or what have you, discussing
in the beginning.
It was primarily for us as the audience to understand that the audience of Rakugo
is aware of how
old he is, and that regardless of whether or not whether or not he'll live another decade or what have you, his health might hinder him from being able to perform at this level for much longer.
Right. Yeah.
Yakumo is a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He also is aware of this, and yet, while he doesn't necessarily want Rakugo to... it's weird, because he does kind of want Rakugo to be, in some ways, finished. There's almost this like bad taste it leaves in his mouth, it seems like.
Right, because
connection to the past.
Well, I feel like it's something where he sees himself as, because him and Tsukuroku were supposed to save Rakugo, right? Yeah. And they didn't. And Yakumo blames himself for that, right? It's his fault that he wasn't able to fully hold up the promise that he made with Tsukuroku.
Right.
So he doesn't want the promise to end up being fulfilled at all. He wants to be able to live with the punishment, or not live with the punishment, but basically
suffer
the punishment, have it be doled out because he failed.
But
right?
it's not.
But it's not.
Konatsu's not killing him. Konatsu is actually feeling a lot of happiness from this. Yes. Rakugo is being saved now.
Right, and maybe that's the thing that he hates so much, because in a state as he is, right, with wanting death and wanting punishment, what could be worse than mercy? Right? What could be worse than to have everything still work out okay? Because it's not okay. His entire life has been flipped on its end and stayed that way ever since Tsukuroku died. Right? So no, that's how it should be. That's how things are. Don't tell me that it's not that way, because then that means I was making even more mistakes by ignoring it this whole time.
Right.
So
and him specifically telling Konatsu, like, I'm counting on you with this. The last time we saw them touching each other in the slightest way was when she was asleep and she like clung to his arm.
Yeah.
And was like crying, and he basically stayed with her until she let go and woke up. That was under a circumstance of something very not a circumstance, but under an umbrella of something rather painful that is regarding their pasts. Yeah. And she doesn't want to lean on him or count on him. He's counting on her here. This is something where him asking her to do this is something that she's probably never, ever had him do, like, her whole life, I would say.
Yeah, and that's why this feels very much like these are my parting words to you as I go to die.
Yep, like, exactly. Yeah. And the fact that she kind of clued in that it was odd, but didn't clue in exactly what it was, I think is
why?
Well, I think that's 100% confirmation that this is his intention. Because if this was something where he was, subconsciously doing this, I don't think this kind of stuff would be brought up.
Sure, and maybe one way an angle they could take it as far as the sort of the mechanical aspect, of being it like, because if this is something that's planned, it seems to be such an indirect thing of hallucinating and seeing Miyokichi and then having a heart attack or whatever, and there you go, right? Like how could that be something that's brought on?
Right.
But if they go at it from the maybe more poetic angle of that, he hasn't even been alive this whole time. He's been sort of lingering like some spirit.
Lingering is a great word for it, yeah.
And he's finally gotten to the point where he's going to accept that he is about to pass on, right?
Yeah.
So he leaves his
hopes he is.
Right. So he leaves his parting words, and now he embraces the skeleton that is himself.
Yeah. There's a cool little thing with the instruments where they were talking about the difference between a shamisen and a woodblock, and I like how he's basically saying, I'm going to set the tone, literally, for what's about to happen here by introducing you to a somber tone.
Yeah,
and then the music, and he says it says, as with all things, there is a yin and yang. I'm like, God, this is so pointed with what he's doing here. And he says, the loneliest sound of all, though, is the gong of a bell at night, bringing back all the way to the beginning where he was before Yotaro had been introduced. Right, but been introduced to his life, though.
Oh.
When Yota fell asleep, was he already a student?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, that's the other thing. A pinwheel, the memento of a dead child. There's just a lot of things in here with regards to death and it being a memorial of death, and then the remembrance of those that have died. This little aspect of then all the way that the light kind of hits the corners of his face makes him look even more gaunt. I have to think that that this was something that he either intended or could have seen coming. And then when he finally sees Sukeroku in this hall of candles, which I actually love the difference here, where it's usually the hallucination is the light at the end of a dark tunnel. This is a bright tunnel with a darkness at
leading
the end.
you to the abyss. Yeah.
So this is not heaven or paradise or hell or what have you. This is just the way to the end.
Right.
And then whatever's beyond that door is the void, nothing.
Yeah.
And then Sukeroku speaks and is just saying, "Why are you here?" And he looks so sad.
Oh, man.
He looks so disappointed. Now, I love any time a character goes introspective and hallucinates it as someone else projecting their thoughts, feelings into his mind, because it's actually the exact opposite. It's your own stuff getting reflected back at you through the through the visage of someone that you care about, love, or what have you.
And in this case, Sukeroku is actually dead. So there's the whole idea of, could this actually be Sukeroku's ghost, or is it just the
spiritual side? Sure.
Right. And I like that. One of the reasons that I love these kinds of things being done in storytelling is that it can so easily be both. Right. You don't need to choose whether it's an old man that's sniffing too much incense and his mind's going places, or whether it's actually the spirit that's been haunting him this entire time, and now it's and just the line, "Why are you here?" The fact that that's the only thing, and that he doesn't speak to him
anything
at all
else, nope.
when he's in the land of the living, right? Because there's nothing that needs to be said. Yeah. Whereas here, he's here. He's like, why? Yeah. And that. Yeah, that sad look on Sukeroku's face.
What I love about this is that whenever we saw Sukeroku alive, he never looked like this with regards to Bon. This is a completely different side, of Sukeroku, which in my mind makes it really good, because it's the thing of, this isn't Sukeroku, this is you, Bon. This is you and your thoughts being reflected back at here, because even if this was Sukeroku and is his disappointment of, what about the promise? Why are you doing this? Why are you here?
Yeah. What about my daughter?
Yeah. What about my daughter? Yeah. It works perfectly. I just think it works even like a little bit better, just in the idea that he is so torn up inside that his own internal state is actually confused as to why he's even here. Like, why? Sure. Why are you here?
Yeah, and like, right, because if there wasn't any conflict about it, one, he would have been here a long time ago.
He would have been here a long time ago.
And two, he wouldn't be torn up about it.
Nope.
Right? If there wasn't any conflict inside him, he probably would have offed himself after Sukeroku and Miyokichi died. Right? But the thing is, there was.
Because there were these two very important people that needed him in sequence. Like,
yep.
I almost find it heartbreaking that Yota was never one of those two. But, like, I almost snuck in an Emperor's New Groove reference there, damn it. Like, but
I was thinking it too.
But just, where is Miyokichi is his next thing after Sasuke finally spoke. Where's Miyokichi-san? What is this place? What are these candles? Is this paradise or is it hell? And just, he doesn't respond. And then when he goes to, kill him essentially here, this is the part that in some ways is in some ways the part that breaks me a little bit here, because when you think about what Yakumo had with Sukeroku, their friendship, their connection, it was really special. And it was something that was so powerful that it nearly brought back Sukeroku from the brink. In fact, it did. It actually did. Now, there were things, obviously, that were, making it complicated.
Right.
There were other people involved. It's not just the two of them. But at this moment, to have this be the thing that occupies Bone's thoughts... Yeah. That he almost expects Sukeroku to be so hateful towards him that he would want to kill him the same way.
Right, because this is the same way that I killed you.
Right, this is totally Bon's internal state. And I absolutely angers me that this is where this tired old man is at, because it's like, God, if you were just able to open up just a little bit, you have this wellspring of love around you from people that aren't even part of the younger cast, Matsuda is there too. It hurts.
And
it hurts.
You know what else I find interesting about this?
Yeah.
So this is, there's all the spiritual aspects too. This is Yakumo's internal thought process, right? He dreamed this up, right? There's the light, there's the lit tunnel to the darkness, to the end.
To the end, yeah.
He doesn't see himself as even deserving that. He just gets killed without even going there. Whether heaven or hell, go
through the journey.
Whether heaven or hell, he doesn't.
The beauty of the candle light.
Right. He doesn't deserve either.
Yeah.
He just stops.
He's just going to be dead in the hallway.
Yeah. He's just going to
way to
not exist. Yeah. And
that's a really great point. Whenever I saw the candles, though, I was thinking back immediately to the Rakugo that he gave. Remember Rakugo way back when?
Yeah.
Where he went into that
the shinigami
voice.
Thing and all
exactly.
That.
And there were all the candles behind him and stuff.
Yeah. I thought of Kung Fu Panda. But I don't know if he's going to wake up after this. I don't know. This could be
he
him.
100% will
I
wake
really
up
hope
this.
He will. This would be as much as this needed to happen, it would be really disappointing if he did die here. Now, it would be poetic and there would be reasons for why. I understand that would be a thing that happens, because sometimes in real life you don't get to have that happy ending. If you get to this point, maybe you do end up getting what you want, right?
Think of the drama here.
I know.
This is no okay. But do you really know? Because there's the aspect of the choice that he's making, right?
Yep.
But there's other characters in this story
that are making choices.
Make choices.
Yep.
And all it's gonna take is just to have a moment where everyone goes, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're okay." And then either he blows it and lets them know that, yeah, he kind of wanted this to happen, or Kanatsu just figures it out.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And basically is like, we're going to put you in a summer home, basically. And you're not playing Rakugo anymore. We're going to come there and be with you, and we're going to be family, and you're going to be able to... And he's just going to be like, please, can you just let me go? Can you let me just let this happen?
Yeah.
I think this story is going to drag out his end, if anything, to the point where Kanatsu is actually the one fighting the hardest to save him, and he's going to see the child grow up to be an adult. Like, I think it's going to go for years and years before Yakumo actually dies. But this will be the beginning of the end for him, as far as Rakugo goes, but potentially also his life.
Something that I would love to see, even though I know this wouldn't happen because he calls him Yotaro. But I would love for eventually Yakumo to say, Sukeroku, why won't you let me go? Because in a lot of ways that's the perfect thing for them to do, because they absolutely don't want to let him go. And he hasn't been letting Sukeroku go. And because Yakumo still has so many things that he needs to settle within himself. There's the acceptance of his mistakes, right? There's the letting go of both Sukeroku and Miyokichi, but mostly Sukeroku. And then forgiving himself so that when he looks at Kanatsu, he doesn't just see a specter of Miyokichi that's haunting him with the grave of Sukeroku,
and he doesn't just see Sukeroku as a specter whenever he sees Yotaro. So
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And that when he sees the kid, he'll be able to see the kid. That this is something that it didn't just end here, right? You didn't screw everything up so badly that it couldn't be fixed, right? Yeah. This will go on.
Yep.
Sukeroku will live on, both in Rakugo and by blood. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that this episode happened also so early in the second season. Oh because in some ways I'm meta thing that he's not going to die here,
right, because how do they have 8 episodes after this if he's dead, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how can it be the one if he's dead? But
so what I expect to have happening in the next episode is some hard conversations between our main 3 characters. But I also expect a very painful conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Now that Sukeroku from the past, the haunting ghost, has spoken, I think that speaking
Yakumo won't be able to ignore it. Like, he'll have to actually face things, hopefully.
You think? Oh, I was just meaning that actually the talking will keep happening between the two of
gotcha.
them.
Sure.
I don't think he's going to be able to face them at all. No. I definitely see, like, there's that future happening at some point, but, like, oh my god, like, this is like when you catch someone after having a failed suicide attempt. It's really painful. It's an extremely hard, dark thing to go through, because they're broken up, and then there's the expected shame that they put on themselves because of what they tried to do necessarily, and it's like, come on, we love you, please let us.
And you know what I love about this? So Yakumo is an empty shell, or at least he thinks he's an empty shell.
He thinks he is.
He thinks he's an empty shell, but he's not quite a dead man walking. He's a mostly dead man walking, right? And there's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Now, mostly dead is slightly alive. And the way we know that he is only mostly dead is the fact that Sukeroku, while there's all the spiritual implications and everything there,
for sure,
Sukeroku is also a construct of his own mind. And his own mind told him, why are you here?
Yeah.
There's a part of him, even if he doesn't accept it, even if he denies it with every fiber of his being, that understands that you have people who love you, right? That you're not done yet. Your journey isn't over yet. It's not all bad. It's not all mistakes, right? So, because otherwise, I would not know exactly how the path would go forward. Even though with 8 episodes they could definitely make it work, because they would have enough time.
A lot of process.
A lot of time, a lot of process, and I'm so excited to see that happen.
And I think they're going to do like 2 more big time skips, like.
Sure, yeah. Because I would not be surprised at all if there was one at the end, and then at least one to show Shin-chan a bit more grown up.
Yeah, maybe another 5 years or 6 years.
But they could do more than that if they wanted.
They could do a ton, yeah.
Yep.
I also think as far as the actual vitality that he has.
Yeah.
We saw his Rakugo. Did you see those faces that he put on?
Oh, it was great.
There? He was killing it.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe they're the voice actor's doing a great job of trying to insert little bits where his voice starts to waver a little bit.
Oh yeah, because he is old, so there is that from a physical standpoint.
Totally.
But from a general energy.
Right, but do you remember in the previous episode where he looked younger than he'd ever looked previously?
Well, and that's what I'm hoping we'll get to see happen.
Yeah.
Is that it won't just be that he will face his own demons, but that he will have people that help him face his own demons with the help of Rakugo. Because that's the other thing that needs to happen. Right now he hates Rakugo because it's a reminder of all his failings, just in the same way that Konatsu is a reminder, right? And we need to have both of those get resolved and both of those fixed so that he can look at them and smile and really have joy. Right? So I could totally see something where say he's in the hospital for a while, right? Because maybe he did have a heart attack, right? And he's really he needs to recover, right? He needs to take it easy.
Sure.
And maybe Konatsu or Yotaro are in there and they're doing Rakugo to him while he's sleeping, just like he did for them.
That's a good idea. Yeah. But what an episode, y'all.
Oh boy.
Thank you so much for watching the reaction and the discussion, y'all. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right, because, come on... Why haven't you gotten it yet? If you haven't gotten it yet, what are you doing?
Yeah, welcome to the end of the discussion. If this is your first time,
welcome to the end of the discussion. Yeah, if you haven't heard about it before, it's a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. It's super cool, and it's on Amazon. Link in the description down below. It's in hardback and ebook, so go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.